Hey guys, how you keeping? Welcome to Love Futsal. My name's David Haynes and today I'm going to be doing a special video where I'll answer some questions that I've had in the comments section. It's specifically what equipment do I wear as a futsal goalkeeper? The equipment that you wear as a futsal goalkeeper is really important, more so than in football, mostly because of the surface that we play on. It's hard and it's unforgiving, therefore protective equipment is really important so we can continue making the saves that we normally make, but without getting hurt or injured. So I'm going to run through exactly what I wear, let you know which products that I've picked, how I find them and the plus points about them, and it might help you pick and get kitted out for when you're in goal as a futsal goalkeeper. So I have quite a lot of equipment as a futsal goalkeeper, and I'm going to start from the bottom up and start from the shoes, talk about the shin pads, socks, knee pads, trousers, undergarment. I have protection on my hips as well, and my elbow pads, and then finally my gloves. So yeah, quite a bit of stuff, but I'll go through each one, say why I wear it, and hopefully it will be beneficial to you. We'll start with the shoes. I just wear a pair of Nike futsal shoes. I find that they're pretty good. They've served me really well. They're beginning to show some signs of wear and they will need replacing soon. But as a goalkeeper, basically, I don't think it's as important what futsal shoes that you go with. Outfield players will certainly have different criteria, and I'm sure there's plenty of opinions out there of which shoes are best, but I find comfort the most important when it comes to these, so find something that you're comfortable in wearing. There are plenty of good brands out there. I'll put some links in the description of where to get futsal boots or shoes, and yeah, you can make your choice, but I don't think it matters as much for goalkeepers compared to that of our outfield counterparts. We'll then move on to shin pads. I wear a pair of Nike shin pads. They're pretty light. They did originally come with ankle protectors and cleats attached to them, but I've taken them off because I find that they get kept and held in place by the socks and the trousers, and there's little need to wear basically more stuff than we need to, and being lightweight so we can move our legs and feet and everything is more important, so I just wear some pretty lightweight shin pads. You can go lighter. I've seen just very small slip-in ones, and I would think they would be equally as good, but I choose to wear these just because I think it's the best of both worlds. They offer quite a bit of protection, but they're not too big or bulky. Next, we'll move on to my favourite piece of equipment. It's a pair of Underpadding shorts made by Reusch. As you can see, they're very well worn, and I do need to replace this pair, but it just goes to show how much I wear it and how much I love this. As a futsal goalkeeper, you notice you'll dive around, and as the floor is very hard, you can bruise certain areas like your bum or your hips, especially the bony part of the hip. And originally when I started playing in goal, I found this as a major problem, and these undershorts pretty much solved that for me. They do have quite a bit of padding in the bum. I will show you. That padding, it's pretty lightweight, but it actually really does a good job. And I wear these under my goalkeeper trousers, and it just gives that extra bit of padding on the hips and your bum. So I find it really useful. It originally had a tiny bit of padding in the knees, but yeah, as you can see, that's very well worn in. But I do have something even more useful for your knees, which I'll move on to next. So next up is the knee pads. I have these all sport knee pads. I believe that they are actually made for volleyball, but I'm not 100% sure about that. I did find them on Amazon. I tested a few different ones out, and I found that some slipped off or were too bulky or didn't provide the right protection, but these ones are absolutely perfect. As you can see, I've got two pairs of these. I've used them lots and lots and would happily buy them again. I'm struggling to find the link on Amazon actually, where I originally got them for. I hope they still make them because I do need to replace them, but I found them absolutely superb. They're comfortable to wear. After you've worn them in a bit, actually, they can be a bit stiff initially, but once you've worn them for a couple of sessions, they do become quite loose and just fit your knee as it should. And you can go down on your knees, you can dive about,
and you won't get bruised like you would without them. So I think they're brilliant. I highly recommend them. So if you can't find this specific one, UHLSport is a good brand for padding, and maybe I recommend typing in volleyball pads, because that's a more well-played sport or well-known sport that has a lot of infrastructure built around it and a lot of equipment out there to help the players. And as it's basically doing the same job, protecting your knees or your elbows indoors on a hard surface, it actually translates and works brilliantly for futsal. Next up, we have my trousers. These are just standard goalkeeper trousers, made by UHLSport. Again, I think this is a fantastic brand. I'm not even sponsored by them. I wish I was, but they just make good stuff. So just type in goalkeeper trousers online, and I'm sure you'll be able to find plenty of options. The key things as a futsal goalkeeper you're looking for, though, is padding on the knees and also padding on the bum and the hip area, as they are the two kind of contact points that you will hit quite a lot. So a bit of extra padding there really does help you out. Right, next to my trousers you'll see a pile of other trousers that I've worn in the past. Playing indoors actually puts a lot of abuse on the materials that you wear, and they are susceptible to wear and tear. And I'll show you some of the examples of my old pairs and kind of what wears out first and what kind of damage you'll expect on your equipment. The first and the main one is the knees. Basically the knees rip through really quickly, so going back to your pads, it's kind of essential that you wear pads underneath, but even them are beginning to show signs of wear on the knees, although because they're quite firm and sturdy they'll last quite a bit longer. Trousers on the other hand will just rip straight through, and you don't really want to be playing with your kneecap showing because you will get bruised and it will hurt. The other is quite amusing wear and tear. Basically it's a big hole in the crotch. So because I can do the split save, and because you need quite a bit of movement, and I think it's mostly because your trousers are tucked into your socks and therefore stretch, they can only stretch so far, and that's the place they tend to rip. So I've got one pair that's done that, and then underneath I think it's exactly the same. This is ripped in the same place. Now I still do wear these pairs in training because you can just wear them, and then I put a normal pair of shorts just over the top of them, which covers the hole, and the rest of the padding is still fit and it still works, so it still does the job. But just be aware that they may rip there, which is quite an embarrassing thing if it happens mid-match, but you've got to be aware that it can happen indoors. Just a very quick note on socks. I just wear a pair of Nike socks. I go as big as I can. The reason for this is because the trousers and the shin pads and the knee pads are quite bulky, so you don't want anything kind of small overly compressing that. So buy big socks, wear them up to your knees, and I use just normal sock tape or even insulating electrical tape if you don't have that, because it does the same job. Yeah, right up to the knee, just to provide that extra bit of a protection, and just locks your shin pads in place, your knee pads in place, and works fine. You will find that your socks do rip quite easily. They will get holes in and they will look really scruffy really quickly, especially if you're a keeper that likes to dive about. So maybe if you train a lot, I would recommend having a few different pairs that you don't mind ruining, and save your nice expensive or more expensive Nike ones for the match. Next up, we'll talk about elbow pads. Similarly with the knee ones, I found these whilst looking for volleyball pads, because there's very little out there when you type in futsal arm pads or elbow pads. So for some reason I use two different ones, one on my right elbow, one on my left. There is absolutely no reason to do this, and two of the same kind will be absolutely fine. I find both of these are absolutely brilliant, and they both do exactly what they should do. I've got a Mueller one that offers a very, very thick and healthy pad for your elbow. And I've also got a McDavid one, another pretty famous brand. And both of these, they stay on your elbow, they stay in place, they offer all the protection you need. I was originally playing without elbow pads, and whenever I dove left or right and banged my elbow into the ground, I had really, really bad bruises the day after, and it ended up getting so bad that I got even a little bit of swelling on my elbows, and it looked like a golf ball worth of swelling, because I just kept banging them every time I played. So it's absolutely essential, I find, to get elbow pads, just to avoid the risk of that kind of repetitive banging injury on your joints, and also to allow you and enable you to make the saves without having to worry about getting injured. So yeah, a pair of elbow pads. I'd recommend searching for volleyball pads. Both of these brands I've found are very good. And finally, we'll move on to gloves. I have a couple of different pairs. I think I have one or two more dotted about as well. I wear full traditional gloves pretty often because I find it offers quite a bit of protection. I've got a full video on glove choices. Check that out. The link will be in the description. But I've also got a pair of fingerless gloves as well. And I do also have some finger tape. So if you Google, I think either on eBay or Amazon, to buy some finger tape, that provides a little bit of extra protection for your fingers. That pretty much sums up everything that I wear. I hope you found this useful. Everything that I do wear, I find really good. That's why I've persisted to wear it. That's why some of them are showing signs of being very well worn. So I do recommend the brands and the stuff that I've shown here. But also, I think the alternatives, say if you find a different type of elbow pad or a different type of knee pad, I think will do the job pretty well. So yeah, I think you do need these. I really do. I've seen lots of keepers come from an 11-a-side background, throw themselves about in goal on a futsal court, and the next day they are completely battered and bruised and injured. So a good pair of underpadding shorts, a good pair of goalkeeper trousers, some knee pads, some elbow pads, and yeah, lightweight pair of shin pads is pretty much the equipment you need. And good luck to those if you decide, or you can play without. Let me know in the comments if you play without. I'll be interested to hear how you manage it, because frankly, whenever I got injured so much I could barely play anymore. So I need this equipment. But yeah, this is everything that I wear, and it enables me to make the saves comfortably, and I can move about in it, and I can throw myself and not worry about getting hurt, which is the important thing. So safe hands out there. I hope you found this useful. Good luck in goal, and I will see you next time. Cheers. Bye-bye.